So one thing that is often associated with the concept of a signature scent is having a fragrance that you're pretty much known for, where whenever people smell that fragrance, they're like, oh, that's James, or that's Jonathan, or that's Winston, or that's whoever. Well, in today's video, I'm going to be going over 10 fragrances that always leave a positive, lasting impression on other people, at least for me. I'm excited to get on with this list, so make sure to stay tuned. Now, before I begin today's episode and I tell you about these 10 fragrances that always leave a positive and lasting impression on other people as per my experience with them, I do want to start things off by saying that if you're a fan of fragrance-related content, please do consider supporting the channel by subscribing to it. Hit the bell icon so you could be notified whenever I do upload future videos to the channel, and I do upload on a daily basis. And of course, give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it or if you took something of value from today's episode. It would really mean a lot to me. So of course, these are fragrances where whenever I did wear them, I feel like the mood of those around me was very positive. I felt very confident, and as a result of that confidence that was instilled, partly because of the fragrance that I was wearing, I feel like I left a positive impression on other people. And I know that I left a positive impression on behalf of me wearing some of these fragrances because people have come back and they told me. They said, you know what, I really enjoyed that fragrance that you wore yesterday. Or in the moment, they will tell me, wow, what fragrance are you wearing? Wow, that smells very clean or very professional, or I have to get that for myself. So I'll share little anecdotes along the way as I reveal the fragrances. But the first one that I want to talk about is one where I've gotten compliments for smelling professional, and I put this all the way at the number 10 spot because it's a fragrance that I worked on. And of course, it goes without saying that I wear a lot of the fragrances that I work on, because part of being a creative director means you have to really get to know the fragrances and, understand them 100% before you make any revisions or choose to go in a particular direction. This one by Navitus Parfum is called Away. This fragrance was composed by Jorge Lee. He's done fragrances for Algabra, Nishane, Istanbul, Unique Luxury, so on and so forth. This fragrance has yuzu, it's aquatic, it's incensey, it has lime, it has coconut, it has this fresh tropical aquatic, yet also incensey and smooth feel to it. It smells very clean, very uplifting, just very fresh. It's a breath of fresh air, and I love it so much. And I've gotten compliments for people who are like, wow, that's what I want to get next, right? Like if we're discussing fragrances with somebody, whether it be a coworker or a friend, they'll say to me like, I need to get that one next. So I'm very blessed for all of the positive impressions that this fragrance has left on people. A fragrance that you can never go wrong with is Bleu de Chanel by Chanel. It doesn't matter what version you buy, the eau de toilette, the eau de parfum, or the parfum. Bleu de Chanel, with that sort of grapefruit incensey combination with the woods, the freshness, smells so well manicured, so clean, so professional, and it's just perfect for the office, perfect for a date. If you just want to smell like a proper gentleman, you can't go wrong with Bleu de Chanel. Chanel does a really good job of releasing fragrances like that. The next fragrance I want to talk about is by Yves Saint Laurent, and it's called La Nuit de l'Homme. Now you can opt for the original, which I also own. I've done a video on it. I also have the L'Intense version here. If you want to get Bleu Electrique, you can do that too. But this one leaves the impression of you being more on the fun, flirty, and playful side of things. It does have the cardamom in here, which is very dark and mysterious at times, but it also has a sweetness in there, which can come across very youthful and playful as well. We have Meteor by Louis Vuitton. Meteor is an amazing, smooth, clean, pleasant, fresh, citrusy type of a fragrance. It can also smell a little bit like dryer sheets. It just has like this very clean, effortless quality to it. And that's probably the best adjective that I can find. It's effortless. You smell good without smelling like you're trying to smell good, if that makes any sense. And this fragrance has gotten compared to Azzaro Chrome. I totally get the comparisons. This smells like it's a bit higher quality. As I'm sure you know, Azzaro's Chrome is kind of a bargain bin fragrance at this point. I do own it, and I own like 6 or 7 of its flankers, but I personally love Meteor. Amazing fragrance. Also gets compared to Vodka on the Rocks by Kilian Paris. If you're familiar with that one, this one is just as good, if not better, for some people, depending on their personal tastes. Now, the next fragrance is more of a recent release from this brand, and this is actually from Gucci. So Gucci Guilty, this is the Parfum version. Now, I do like the Love Edition. I do like Gucci Guilty Black. I even like the original and the Intense. Now, this one is different in the sense that it's a little spicier and it has this added note of rose in there. So it's rosy, but it's also fresh. It has that compliment factor that you're also going to find in the original and the 2 Love Editions that were released throughout the years. This one, however, probably comes across smelling a little more romantic, and I don't know why I did this, but I was in the mood to wear a new fragrance to work. I had been wearing the same ones all the time, and I actually sprayed like 3 or 4 different fragrances on scent strips, and I brought them up to my wife and I said, which one do you like better? I gave her Creed Aventus, I gave her Uncut Gem by Frederic Malle, I gave her a Xerjoff fragrance, and I gave her this one, and she picked this one. She didn't even hesitate. She goes, this one. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to start wearing a little Gucci Guilty Parfum to work. Definitely leaves a very positive impression. My family loves it, especially my wife. This one by Xerjoff is the other Xerjoff fragrance that I had her smell, but I didn't want to reveal it prematurely. This one is Mephisto Gentiluomo by Casa Moratti, which is under the Xerjoff umbrella, if you will. This fragrance has the citrus, the grapefruit. You have a touch of florals in the heart as well. And some people have compared it to Silver Mountain Water by Creed. I find this one to be less abstract. I find it to be more easy to read, more transparent, incredibly fresh, definitely gives off a gentlemanly vibe. And my wife had some of her friends over the other day, and she brought them down to the basement. They saw my collection, their jaws hit the floor, and then I had them smell this one for whatever reason, and one of them said, wow, that even smells expensive, right? So it's comments like these that I sort of latch on to and kind of are being used as a determination as to what fragrances ought to make their way into this list. The next fragrance, come on, Explorer by Montblanc. There's no denying why this fragrance is in the list. It smells like Creed Aventus. I have made so many recommendations to people who are like, hey, look, I'm looking for a new fragrance for my father or my boyfriend or my husband or whatever. What should I get? I usually recommend, Bleu de Chanel or even Montblanc Legend, but Explorer is usually the one that they gravitate towards and they love it. The next fragrance I want to talk about is another designer. This one is one of the most professional, if not the most professional fragrance that this brand has to offer, Armani Code Parfum by Giorgio Armani. Excellent fragrance. Overdose of tonka bean. I personally love it. There's a hint of sweet spice in the opening, something that I've always equated to the smell of like licorice or star anise. And whenever I smell it, I just love it. So it smells professional with a touch of sweetness, something akin to La Nuit de l'Homme, but done with different ingredients. It achieves the same effect, but with different ingredients. And I've always said that the only other really professional smelling fragrance by Armani that I truly, truly loved was Armani Attitude, which is now discontinued, but Armani Code Parfum is incredible. And then, of course, we also have one of the biggest heavy hitters in the fragrance game by Parfum de Marly. This one is called Leighton. I have worn this out to dates. I have worn this out to evenings spent at friends' homes. I have worn this all over the place, and there hasn't been a time where somebody hasn't stopped to compliment me and say something nice to me. It always turns out that whenever I wear Leighton or Percival, these two fragrances by Marly always get me a compliment. There are some other fragrances that are they have this polarity about them, like Calon. Not everybody loves Calon. Some others, by Early, for example, is overdose of cardamom, but Leighton with the apple and the lavender and the vanilla, it's a beautiful, beautiful fragrance that is sure to leave a positive, lasting impression. And the number one fragrance on this list that is sure to leave a positive, lasting impression. I have a student teacher at work. She smells this fragrance. She has complimented when I wore it on a number of occasions. I've gotten compliments from my wife, friends, colleagues, the list goes on. And more recently, or I should say back towards the end of October, beginning of November of 2022, I was doing jury duty and I was at a convenience store just getting myself a cup of coffee in the morning. morning before I had to start my service. And the proprietor of this convenience store said, "What in the world are you wearing? I need to know." And I wrote it down for him, and I gave him a list of websites that he should check out if he wants to get it at a discounted price. And he goes, "I am buying this one today. I don't care how expensive it is." He just fell in love with it. And that's kind of the reaction I've gotten from people. Very professional. You guys all know about this fragrance. It is the #1 office work fragrance. The compliments just flood in, and it does get compared to some designer fragrances that came out after it. It's by Creed, and it's Green Irish Tweed. It always leaves a positive, lasting impression on people. There's no rough edges. It is not challenging in any way. People have compared it, of course, to Cool Water by Davidoff. It's the same perfumer, Pierre Bourdon. And with this fragrance, you have that Florentine iris, the lemon verbena. You have this citrus, the lemon in the opening. It's just so beautifully done. That clean green undercurrent that kind of runs through the fragrance. It smells so professional. It's the fragrance you wear when you want to seal the deal, and it never fails to get me positive attention. So I love Green Irish Tweed. Same thing can kind of be said about Aventus. Aventus is more of like a, Rico Suave kind of a fragrance, if you know what I mean. Green Irish Tweed, on the other hand, is definitely on the more clean cut, tame, professional, perhaps even stoic side of things, but I really love Green Irish Tweed. Thank you so much for watching this video. 10 fragrances that are sure to leave a positive, lasting impression on those around you. What are some of your fragrances that you wear whenever you want to leave a positive impression? I'm curious to hear. Leave your comments down below. Thank you as always so much for your viewership. It means the world to me. As we embark on this new year, I'm hoping to deliver as consistently as I've done in the past, and perhaps even more consistently. If you would like to see more than one upload in a day from me, let me know. Leave your comments down below. Always love the interaction. Thanks again for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, give it a thumbs up. Love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.